Hi friends, welcome to Math with Miss Beck. Today you will learn about the coordinate plane. But first, let's review some prior knowledge from 4th grade to make this concept easier to learn. In 4th grade, you learned about line graphs and bar graphs too. Do you remember? They use a horizontal and vertical axis that denotes or indicates certain information. On a line graph, the horizontal axis always denotes change in periods of time, such as seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, or even seasons. The vertical axis denotes values which depend on the data set you've collected, such in this graph titled Temperatures in New York City. Notice that the horizontal axis denotes time in days, and the vertical axis denotes values in increments or equally spaced out increases of 20. The points on the line graph are locations that meet at specific places. Look at where the first point is on the very left side. Can you interpret this point? It tells us that on day 1, or the first day, the temperature in New York City is 43 degrees. Can you tell which day had a temperature of 57 degrees? Or can you give the temperature of day 6 or the 6th day? For each point on this graph, 2 pieces of data or information are necessary in order to graph each point: the period of time and the values. These pieces of information coordinate or go together and are noted by the point to express the data. In 5th grade and all grades for the rest of your life, we will no longer refer to the axes as the horizontal and vertical axes. We will refer to them as the x-axis and the y-axis. The x-axis is the same as the horizontal axis, and the y-axis is the same as the vertical axis. Today, you will learn about the coordinate plane. Coordinates are pairs, just like you coordinate a pair of socks to match. A coordinate plane is a visual representation, a type of graph, of a data set using an ordered pair of numbers called coordinates. The figure on the right is a Cartesian coordinate plane, better known as the coordinate plane. Notice the x-axis and the y-axis as labeled. Also notice that both axes have both positive and negative numbers. In the center of the coordinate plane is the number 0. It is the point at which you start when you are plotting points or locating the position of an ordered pair of numbers. Another word for the start of something or the beginning of something is origin. 0 is called the origin. The coordinate plane is broken into 4 sections or quadrants. Each quadrant represents a specific data set and is labeled Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, Quadrant 4. The way I memorize them is that they make a letter C as in coordinate when you go from quadrant 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Quadrant 1 only holds points that have positive numbers. If you see quadrant 1, it is only surrounded by positive numbers. Quadrant 2 has negative positive numbers. If you see quadrant 2, you'll notice that it is surrounded by negative positive numbers. Quadrant 3 represents negative numbers. Quadrant 3 is surrounded by all negative numbers. And quadrant 4 represents positive negative numbers, because it is surrounded by only positive and negative numbers. So, what are coordinates? Coordinates are pairs of numbers such as 4, -2, -3, 0, or 5, -5, and so on. They always appear this way, two numbers in parentheses separated by a comma, and are called an ordered pair. Awesome! But what do I do with these numbers? How does this work? The first number in the pair is always represented on the x-axis, and the second number on the y-axis. The pair meet at a point on the plane. Therefore, the coordinate pair 2, 4 would appear like this at the point M. Remember, 2 represents the x-axis. We begin at the origin 0 and travel on the x-axis to 2. 4 represents the y-axis. Again, we begin at the origin and travel up to 4 on the y-axis. You have now plotted 2, 4. The point is where they intersect. Don't forget from 4th grade, two lines will intersect when they cross or meet. Can you name the coordinates at J, K, and L? Let's try. Well, we know that an ordered pair is two numbers whereby the number in the first position is represented by the x-axis and the number in the second position is represented by the y-axis. So let's look at letter J. If we begin at the origin and we know that the first number or value is on the x-axis, we see that J is to the left of the origin or negative to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. J has an x value of -4. And if we go back to the origin, we notice that the J is also positive on the y-axis, 1, 2 jumps. So our y coordinate is 2. We have -4, 2. And if we were to plot that point, -4 is here and -2 is here, and they meet at this point J. Let's try K. K we see again is to the left or negative of 0 on the x-axis. 1, 2, 3. -3. X would be equal to -3. Let's go back to the origin and take the y-axis, which we see is also in the negative direction. It is -1.5 or 1.5 on the y-axis. So this coordinate K has a value of -3, -1.5. And finally, the coordinates at letter L or point L. If we start at the origin, we see that now our x has a positive value of 1, 2, 3, 4. So our x-axis is equal to 4. And our y-axis again is in the negative 1, 2, -2. So L has coordinates 4, -2. And 4 meets at -2 at the point L. Today, you will watch a Khan Academy video to introduce you to the coordinate plane, working only in quadrant 1. This is what it will look like. Notice once again that quadrant 1 only has values that are positive, positive. Click on the link to the video in Khan Academy to watch his explanation, and then go to today's problems. Thank you for watching my video.